Good morning. We're getting close to being done with this unit. We've worked with the slope-intercept form a lot. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today and tomorrow's objectives are not just on that slope-intercept form. So we don't have to write y equals mx plus b today. We do have to know it for our test. Today we're doing CO58. I can determine if the relationship between two variables shows a direct variation. So our variables are going to be those x's and y's, like we've been working on with that slope-intercept form. Okay, thinking about that x and the y. So we can see, so we still have that y-intercept form, the slope-intercept form is still listed because we're going to be looking at that slope. So it fits in with what we've been working on because we're working with the slope. Some lines have what is called a direct variation. Below are some examples of equations of lines with direct variation and some without. So we're going to see what's the difference. What makes these first three a direct variation and what makes those last three not a direct variation. So let's figure out what direct variation means to start us off. So a direct variation is a proportional or direct relationship from y to x. The constant of variation is y divided by x, which is the same as saying the slope of the line. And a direct variation with a function table, so the direct variation exists when y divided by x is the same. So when we're looking at our function table, we're going to know that there's a direct variation because when we take the y and we divide it by x, we get the exact same number every time. If we do not get the same number, the same decimal, it's not a direct variation. Because we know if something is proportional, it's going to have that same increase from the top and the bottom are multiplied by that same number. Okay, so it's proportionate. So we want to check to make sure that our y to our x are proportionate. So let's look at our first table. We have our x's and we have our y's. What do you think my first step is to see if it is a direct variation? Tatum? Think about what direct variation with a function table means. So what do you think my step is to do, Michael?
Like the pattern?
No, even simpler than looking for a pattern. Gus?
Divide y by x.
We're going to divide all of our y's by the x that it's matched with. If every time we get the same number, every time, you don't just do two of them, you do all of them. If they all end with the same number, is it a direct variation? Yeah, because it's proportionate. So you always do y divided by x. So 4 divided by 2, what is that? 16 divided by 8 is what? 20 divided by 10. 24 divided by 12. Are they all the same? Is it a direct variation? Yes. So it is a direct variation. So now we can find, oh, look at this. We determined that it was a direct variation. If it shows a direct variation, we're going to find the constant of variation and write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Oh, I said we weren't sticking hardcore to that slope-intercept form, but we're still using it. So if I find my direct variation is the same, what is my constant of variation called? Y divided by x is also what? Say it again. Not just the shape, it's the slope. It's the slope of the line. So if I know that this is my constant of variation, it's always the same, how do you think I would write that? Can I just go immediately to my y-intercept form and be done? What do I still need to find? If I know my slope, what else do I have to find, Chance? Which part of the equation am I missing? Tatum? The y-intercept, that b. Because remember that slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. I know my m, my y and the x, I keep y and x. I need to know what that b will be. So I'm going to do what I did in yesterday's objective. I'm going to use one of my ordered pairs to find my y-intercept. So I can say y equals my slope times the x plus b. So now I'm going to put in my ordered pair. My y is 4. My x, when y is 4, x is 2 plus b. So that is 4 equals 2 times 2 is 4 plus b. I have to do my opposite operations. Did you have a question? Okay, so I'm going to subtract out my 4. So 0 equals b. So what do I put for my slope-intercept form? Y equals 2x. Do I have to put plus 0? No. Let's do another one together. Let's do this next one. First thing I have to do is find, is it a direct variation? So 1 divided by 3 is what? 1/3, right? 4 divided by 12 is 1/3. 3 divided by 9 is
1/3.
And 9 divided by 27. Is it a direct variation?
Yes.
Yes. So this is a direct variation. So I need to put that 1/3 is which part of my slope-intercept? The m. That 1/3 is my m. So I'm going to put that in. Y equals 1/3 x plus b. So I'm going to take my ordered pair and I'm going to put it in. So my y is 1 equals 1/3 times 3 plus b. When I'm multiplying a fraction by a whole number, what should I do to my whole number? Make it into a fraction. So 1/3 times 3/1 is 3/3, which is the same as 1. So 1 equals 1 plus b. So I need to do my opposite operations. I'm going to subtract my 1 out, and I get 0 equals b. So what is my slope-intercept form? Aiden? Y equals 1/3 x. Audrey?
When there's a direct variation, is the b always a 0?
Look at what Audrey noticed. When we look up at the top, if it was a direct variation, our y-intercept was zeros. Look at what we're noticing down here. Our y-intercepts are zeros. So if it is a direct variation and it is proportionate, that y-intercept will be 0.
So, is that where we start to write out all this stuff?
So for these 5 tables, you have to show all of your work. Oh my goodness, it's like I'm pulling teeth. We actually have math work time to do math to make sure it sinks in how to do it. So next week when we take the test, we do it correctly. You have time, practice it. On the bottom, I'm not going to make you show finding for your B. Okay, but I want to know that you are doing it correctly. And on top, if there's no direct variation, do we have to do all of that work? No. If there's no direct variation, you can't put it into the slope-intercept form. It says, find the constant of variation and write the equation if it shows that direct variation. So if it doesn't show direct variation, do we have to put it into slope-intercept form? No. You only have to put it into slope-intercept form if it is a direct variation.
If it isn't, what would be?
So up here, let's look at our next one. What's 6 divided by 8? Well, let's do it
3/4.
3/4. What's 18 divided by 4 simplified? What is 30 divided by 40 simplified?
3/4.
What's 8 divided by 12 simplified? What's 8 divided by 12 simplified? So we would divide the 4 out, Simplify your fractions, friends. If it's not the same fraction every time, is it a direct variation? No. Remember when I said you have to do it for every single pair. If we had stopped after that third one, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, it's a direct variation. No, it's not. We have a 2/3 in there. You have to do it for every pair. Make sure you have the same slope for each pair. Y divided by x, y divided by x, y divided by x, y divided by x, for all 4 of them. So this is a no direct variation. Done. Only do the y-intercept if it is a direct variation. If it's not a direct variation, you do not have to do anything more. You just write no direct variation. Does that make sense? Okay. Do we have any questions? When you finish doing your work for today, you are going to make sure that you have your math packet that was due yesterday turned in. There are quite a few of us that have it listed as missing now in Blackbaud. You are going to make sure you have your Khan Academy done. That is due tomorrow. It is not social time. We have people concentrating and working. If you are all done with everything, you look to see if you have any other missing assignments. If you are all caught up on missing assignments, you work on Math Masters. Okay? This is silent work time. For my friends at home, we hope you are well, and we hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day. Ooh, I don't know why that moved.